Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic, host of Bachelor Nation News, and it's that time of the week where we have call-outs. Are the call-outs getting more aggressive, or is it just me? Sarah Hamrick calls out Logan for moving on to other women, calling him a player. She's like, where's the line between following your heart and being a player? It's a good question, but it's also like, come on, you went on one date. You know what I mean? You got tea together. You hung out on a reality show about dating, and then he went with someone else. Is that, I feel like a player is when like you say what you need to say to get laid, and then once you hit it and quit it. That's a player, right? Hit it and quit it. I don't know how much hitting and quitting Logan's doing. I mean, he is moving on. There's a case to be made. But at the same time, is the line when she says, where is the line between being a player and following your heart? I'd like to think we're still in the line of following your heart. And by following your heart, it's like we are on a dating show. How much of a heart are we going to be following? Follow me on Instagram at DNeals, patreon.com/Dave Neal. I'll be live right after this at 10 a.m. Pacific time with bonus behind-the-scenes content. So what happens is this. We have last night's episode of Bachelor in Paradise. Kate Gallivan basically tells Jacob, you're great, but he's greater. And she gives Jacob the courtesy of saying, I'm going to choose the other guy. And then Sarah says, well, why couldn't Logan have done that with me? And we'll get into that. So here, Logan smooches Kate. They do their thing. Then Sarah side-eyes Logan. And do me a favor, I've got a podcast I'm dropping next week, Bachelor Rush Hour, which is going to be an afternoon release every single day for your commute home or whatever you like to do in the afternoon. You can subscribe to that by clicking on my newsletter right here, and I will send you the link when it comes out to subscribe to my podcast. It starts November 1st, barring any technical issues. Okay, so anyway, other couples from Bachelor Nation, or at least partially from Bachelor Nation, showing us how it's done. We have Blake saying, with the Bachelor in Paradise music here, with, of course, a girl, Gigi, that he met on All-Star Short, not on Bachelor Nation. So anyway, he's saying it can be done outside of Bachelor Nation. Cassidy says thriving and relishing and having found love without the help of ABC, LOL. Although you could say, it's hard, the butterfly effect, it's hard to say ABC didn't have anything to do with her finding love. She kind of developed her personality from the show. I don't know how she met her boyfriend, but either way, the point is she didn't find it on the TV show. Okay, but Sarah posted on her Twitter. This is what she posted yesterday. Girls, girls, girls. These are the some of the new ladies, not all. Oh yeah, are these all the new ladies from that have just arrived on the beach here? And then there she is saying, I'm pooped, I'm over it, I'm done. And by the way, I'm going to share with you the other two stories we have, which if you guys remember Sarah, she was involved in that Crygate issue. Remember that? Where she says Clayton and her had a good cry together. And then Clayton said, I didn't cry. And it was kind of one of those like weird stories where it's like, you guys got to get on the same page. So Brittany Galvin said that Sarah deserves better. She said, I love you. Sierra Jackson said, Sarah basically said, karma has my back. I'm not concerned. And then Sarah said, my girl. And Sarah said, the way that Kate could talk to Jacob before, but Logan didn't say anything to me. And then said, where's the line between following your heart and being a player? So it seems that Sarah's more embarrassed. And of course, when you're embarrassed, a lot of times you channel anger. That's why it's always dangerous. Or can be dangerous for me with stand-up comedy. When you embarrass a heckler, they'll either shut up or they'll start throwing stuff at you. There really isn't too much. And Sarah seems like the type who's going to at least verbally throw things at you. Maybe she hasn't been rejected before, but of course, Clayton's season should have been a warm-up for some Bachelor Nation rejecting. Meanwhile, Logan's just over there getting his massage. Funniest take on the Logan massage was me checking if there's anything left in the Pringles can. There it is, folks. So some past stories we had with Sarah, because Sarah seems to be a real catch. I mean, she's gorgeous and things seem to be going, well with her as far as meeting these guys, but then when it hasn't ended well, it's almost like let's just blow it all up. Bachelor fans are at least rallying behind Clayton Echard after surprise elimination. Clayton, this was, of course, back in Clayton's season. Clayton finally seems to be winning over Bachelor Nation after a season of The Bachelor that's been full of manipulative bullies as well as social media roasting in questionable fashion. His journey, not just to find love, but also self-discovery, seems to be playing out in real time. And with the latest episode, fans saw season 26 lead directly confront one of the contestants for manipulating him and send her packing in a surprise elimination. Do you guys remember remember this? We forget these things right away. Sarah Hamrick, who at 23 years old was the youngest of the women competing in Clayton Echard's season of The Bachelor, had been rubbing the other women in the house the wrong way, and it all came to a head during a group couples therapy date after the psychologist accused one of the women, without saying who, of being performative. The former football player seemed to pretty easily suss out she was talking about Sarah Hamrick, and then pretty easily called her out on it. Jaws dropped as Clayton told Sarah multiple times that he wasn't buying what she was tearlessly selling. She tried to rebound by saying she had no tears left to cry, which was an admirable maneuver, but he didn't back down. It was shocking to some fans that he was so easily able to see through Sarah Hamrick after weeks of seeing the season 26 Bachelor get manipulated. Yeah, he wasn't buying her BS. And I'm not saying Logan didn't have any BS with Sarah. They had a pleasant date from all that we could see, but it was afterwards that it's like, oh boy, when things don't go your way, that's when you see someone's true adversity. So multiple women called out Sarah, and I'm not trying to be hard on Sarah. By the way, might be one of my best thumbnails I've ever made. You see how the pink works well? I matched it with her dress. Bachelor Happy Hour said, in case you need a little more info on why the woman had a problem with Sarah, they explained it here. Have a listen.
Sarah any earlier that we just didn't see it air? Or do you now wish, and maybe you've chatted with the other women about this too, like does anyone wish they would have confronted her earlier so it didn't have to blow up and get to the point that it did? And really, I mean, because it sounds like she made y'all feel like shit. Yeah. And it really rocked your relationships and like wanting to be there at certain points. I think that was a consensus of the group. Yeah. So does anyone wish that they would have called her out earlier?
Totally. To answer your question, as far as I know, no one confronted her earlier. And I wish that we would have. I think the hard part is she would go to us all individually and off camera. So she would start it by saying, because we are so close, I want to tell you what he's saying so that you can guard your heart. So when you're phrasing it like that, like you just are having a friend coming and talking to you, is this like late night?
Okay, so they clearly had beef with her. Other women had beef with Sarah, but that's not to say that that should spill into this season. But Sarah is no sort of stranger to drama on the show. She posted this: "My life revolves around peace and love. Stress and negative energy have no place here," which I totally get. When we saw Logan break up with Sarah, he asked if he could hold her hand, and he was as nice as possible. But of course, I don't know how much. I mean, I don't know, guys. I thought when Michael broke up, and again, I ruffle feathers when I do this, but I thought when Michael broke up with Sierra, he was as nice as possible. I thought when Logan broke up with Sarah, he was as nice as possible. Now, Sarah doesn't have to play by his rules. She can be as upset as she wants, but they only went on a date, right? I mean, Logan's aware of the situation that he's in. He's aware that Shanae is probably seeing other guys. He's aware of these different things, and he's just kind of like sort of passively taking whatever comes to him. Kate likes me. Well, out of all these options, and people might say, well, there's collateral damage to that. Yes, there is. The collateral damage being that people like Sarah will respond, say, oh, he's a player. So my question for you guys is this: is Logan a player, or is he just following his heart? What do you guys think? I mean, he does have to Sarah's credit, Logan has a track record of sort of winning over Rachel, not necessarily winning her over, but when he got on Rachel's side, realizing he still had feelings for Gabby. So there is definitely a question there of who's right for him. But it could also be a scenario where it's like a guy who's just got options. And when you have options, obviously that annoys people because, when you have options, there's someone's gonna be the choice that you didn't choose. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So anyway, we'll have to see how it all plays out. I've got more stories today coming about contestants calling out the show. It seems to be just a free-for-all melee this season where people are calling out the show for different edits and things like that. But as far as I'm concerned, Ref Dave, I look at this as a non-issue. So far, it's not like he set some sort of standard with Sarah, like we are going to be official, we are together, this is it. That doesn't seem to be the case. So does he owe Sarah a conversation? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to be live on Patreon right after this, patreon.com/Dave Neal. And don't forget, link in the comments section below if you want to sign up for the newsletter, which will get you direct access to the free podcast, which will be launching next week. All right, folks, we'll talk to you in a bit. Bye.